So, a little behind, but that does mean we have both the next wave of studio series and legacy to cover.
Yay!
So, there's the button. Let's start with the new Bumblebee figure.
Yay!
That turns into a squished bug.
Yay!
Yeah, admittedly, this looks nice for a Bumblebee figure. I do hope it brings down the Netflix one.
Yay!
In terms of price.
Okay, I'm being serious now. Oh, that's like the first few minutes of the stream is just me saying yay.
Admittedly just a recording, but yeah.
Yeah. Yay!
But yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that this is the same mold. I think it's about the same size. I think I had seen, but I don't know that it keeps any of the parts. It might follow a somewhat similar transformation. I can't fully tell.
Yeah, I couldn't say either.
Yeah, since I did end up obtaining Gold Bug, it uses the licensed bug, I would kind of prefer to try and track down the Netflix one for consistency's sake.
Yeah.
Then we have this guy.
Ooh.
This guy is from the War for Cybertron game, where everyone was really bulky and overly buff.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what this guy's name is?
What's his name?
Decepticon Soldier.
So wait, he was just a generic Decepticon soldier?
This is just a generic Decepticon soldier.
Or was he like an enemy that you fought in the game?
I think he is literally based on the generic enemies of the game, or at least one of the types of generic enemies from the game. So, yes.
I mean, if he's a generic guy, he would probably cost less, right? Or would he cost more due to the quality they put into him?
Due to that they use size classes, he costs the same, but it ends up being something where especially with generic characters, I could see it being something where they're more likely to end up going on sale later on, and people can end up buying a bunch of them.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was thinking. Like,
yeah,
it
would be neat if they ended up lowering the price, made a separate generics price class where it was cheaper so you could army build them.
Yeah, like, that way people can make like a stop motion video of them.
Yeah. So I know of two characters that are generic characters that randomly have names and are apparently reoccurring characters. I know of Bob from Hydra, Deadpool's friend, and I know of, I believe, Steve, the Psycho from Borderlands, Claptrap's friend.
Yeah, I remember that guy.
So, My question for you is, does this look more like a Bob or a Steve?
I would say it's more of a Steve.
Hey-oh!
Yeah, exactly. Like, he even has the mask and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, if it weren't so clearly if this were like a legacy Generation 1 mixed interpretation, I might have grabbed him just for that joke. But he is since he's Studio Series, he is blatantly the War for Cybertron game. There's not really a good way to try and kind of sneak him into Generation 1. Because I've not been collecting the War for Cybertron game characters. Maybe that can be the name of one of the generic seekers. Steve. Yeah. We have Armada Galvatron, which we do not have an actual picture of the image from, but would be the same mold as Armada Megatron that they had done, just recolored. Also, I think I had mentioned this to you, but I will note here, it does look like they're now using the box arts instead of just the first image they could find for the character.
Okay.
So that ends up actually leading to a bit better idea of what they're gonna look like.
Yeah. That definitely helps.
Yeah, so you don't get... sadly, that means we don't get anything else for him there. But we do get... Energon Galvatron as well. For some reason, his box art was him in vehicle mode, so we only have his vehicle mode recolored here.
Okay.
Energon Megatron as well recently.
Oh.
But he was core class, so he was small. Then we have Cybertron Hotshot. I don't know much about the Unicron trilogy still.
Neither do I, to be fair.
Yeah. About the only main thing I know about this figure is the original version of this character's... the original version of the Cybertron Hotshot mold, if I recall correctly, got used to make the original version of Shattered Glass Goldbug. It might have also been used to make, I'll double check. It might have also been used to make Shattered Glass Blur originally as well. That one I'm not as confident in my... nope, it was not. That was apparently from Cybertron Blur. Yeah, the original Shattered Glass did not follow Generation 1 as flatly as their Shattered Glass collection did. And on one hand, I hope they do end up making, for people who've been holding out or have space for a secondary Shattered Glass collection, all the completely accurate to the original comics Shattered Glass figures. But I hope that if they do that, it's not a hard pivot and we can still get some of the guys in just in Generation 1 based forms.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he trades out yellow and red to mainly a blue, from what I see here. We have Metal Hawk, who, from what I've heard, is supposedly going to be the Legacy mold, but with a toy-based color scheme instead of as much of a show-based one.
Okay.
I think the main thing that means for it is that the gold parts are going to be a shiny metallic color instead of a flatter yellow.
Oh.
I think that's the main difference that's gonna happen. Then we have Animated Motormaster, who didn't even show up in the animated show.
Yeah, about to say, this does not look animated. Well, I mean, it is animated, but not like from the animated series.
Yeah, if I'm correct,
maybe it was like a scrapped character.
I think partly. I think he got revived as like one of the a convention exclusive box set with the other Stunticons for animated, where he was retooled from Animated Optimus. So I think it is a case of them wanting another use of that Animated Optimus mold. That they're making use of him. I wouldn't be surprised if they made Animated Toxitron from it as well. So they can get their money's worth of the mold. Then we have this guy.
Oof. It's like all white.
This is Nucleus.
Nucleus?
Yeah. I feel like it's a little too techy for a rock vehicle. A little too Technite for a rock vehicle.
It reminds me of like one of the vehicles from Superchargers. From Skylanders Supercharger.
Spitfires, right?
Yes, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, it kind of does. If you took like the new molding elements and put them in the original mold's coloring, because this is a retool of the like black gray obsidian based guy, Magnius. Put it into the original mold's coloring and change out the wheels to like blue flames. It would almost perfectly be an adaptation.
Yeah, exactly.
of his vehicle. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but you are very right there. I do like the idea of collecting the rock. At least some of the rock Transformers. But this one, I feel like he's too tech-based for me.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah, he feels a little too tech.
Yeah.
Especially since part of their design principle with them was that they were somewhat based off of just rock creatures from apparently an episode of one of Japan's follow-up animes of the original show. So I don't know that the tech ends up fitting as much to me as, say, just a flat, more Flintstones mobile.
All we need are like legs at the bottom bar.
Yeah. Apparently we are getting a deluxe-sized Optimus Prime based on the original toy.
Yeah, like we need another
Yeah, like we need another option for Generation 1 Optimus Prime in particular.
Yeah.
Him and Michael Bay's Optimus, there are so many of them. I think we can give them a bit of a break from needing new molds.
My point exactly.
Give or take, actually trying to do something proper with the last two Bay films' design, which good luck on whoever dares try that. Because that is just gonna be brutal.
Yep. Yes, it will be.
We have Quake.
His gun looked like it's made out of Legos.
His guns kind of do. I think from what people have deciphered, apparently, you know how they had the Skullgrin figure for Legacy?
Yeah?
And you know how they had Needlenose that had the two poorly articulated target masters? From what people have deciphered, it is a retool of Skullgrin into a somewhat more convincing tank with the gun, with the target masters from Needlenose.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Honestly, the head also kind of looks like it might have been a slightly changed Needlenose.
Yeah. Like it definitely looks like too.
Yeah, so I am curious to see what that even looks like in full, because I'm not certain about that design decision.
Yeah, I'm quite curious on what they will actually do when they release it.
Yeah.
Or what it will look like, at least.
Yeah. We have Robots in Disguise 2001 Sideburn. The mold that the retool that they specifically screwed up Cyberverse Shadow Striker to do. And they didn't even get the car right. Which annoyed a lot of people.
Looks like a Hot Wheels car.
Specifically, he apparently turned into like a Dodge Viper. And now he just looks like this. He just looks like a generic futuristic car.
Yeah, and also let's talk about like the head mold.
I think
does it look like anything you've ever seen before?
Admittedly, I think that's actually relatively close to how he's supposed to look.
Okay, yeah, but does it remind you of anything else?
Not specifically.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like RoboCop.
Ah.
With the way the helmet is shaped and the way the visor is over his eye.
dead or alive if you are coming with me. And apparently, according to some people, this guy, Nucleus, he took up the budget that could have gone towards this figure.
Seriously?
Apparently. I say apparently because I don't think I've seen that actually confirmed. I've just seen a bunch of people say that's why.
Okay.
But also, I will note, this is the front of the car from what I can tell. That's
So
the
wait,
very front of the car.
His crotch is at the front of the car.
Look, there's that detail, dark blue, light blue. That detail,
Oh.
dark blue, light blue.
Okay, that is just weird.
Yeah, so I don't know that they could have changed it enough anyway.
I don't know how they could have changed it.
Yeah, because I'm gonna know. I don't know how they could have changed it enough anyway with how that apparently folds up unless they made this even more kibbly to stick out further.
Yeah, it's like going outside without your pants.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of people disappointed about this figure. I'm more disappointed that they ruined Shadow Striker's potentially interesting figure to basically just make a pre-tool for this.
Yeah.
And then they screwed up this one as well. Yeah, hopefully that ends up really souring people on the thing that I've been complaining about since Skyquake. But everyone loves Skyquake's design styling, even though it's basically literally this. Just with Generation 1 Skyquake and Prime Skyquake instead of destroying a different character's design. That wasn't even the same name, even though, well, so this was the original version of the mold. There was a version of the original's mold that got called Shadow Striker, but looked nothing like the Cyberverse version. Keep that in mind. Looked nothing like the Cyberverse version, and yet they decided to make the Cyberverse version a mixture of Cyberverse and that figure, even though Cyberverse already is heavily Generation 1 based. Just to apparently pre-tool this, of which they also messed up. Think about that. That is a lot of bad planning that I don't know how much of it was just budget and how much of it was they thought it would work well because it worked so well with basically making Prime Skyquake into just Generation 1 Skyquake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we have Bumblebee Skywarp. He's
Oh wait, I wasn't even looking at. Sorry.
yeah. Then we have Bumblebee Skywarp, who is admittedly a little more gray. I guess he's
Yeah.
a little. I guess he's a bit of a better guy now. I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a joke about morally gray.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying he was a better looking guy. Yeah.
No. I was making a joke of, he's gray instead of black, so therefore, let's make a joke about him being a better guy. And make a joke about morality. admittedly, from what I recall, that whole sequence in Bumblebee that he shows up in is somewhat darkly colored, so it makes sense that he wouldn't be a dark black color or like a super dark gray, because then he would have gotten completely washed out and kind of just disappear into the background completely outside of the purple.
Yep.
So I can see why they did it, but it is still just kind of strange that he's a lot of light gray with some dark gray. Let's see. Oh yeah, Slipstream. Don't know how I feel about this one. I actually mentioned this to you before.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, because this looks to somewhat be however you pronounce it. I think it seems to be referencing when they had made Slipstream from Windblade before. For some reason that they decided they needed to do it. This may or may not be animated Slipstream or Generation 1 Slipstream. I'm not certain. I've seen both be said. And I will say the head looks strange. Something feels really off. I wonder if it's because the helmet doesn't come all the way down to the bottom of the of the face. That's probably what's making it feel so off.
Maybe.
They didn't make the helmet go all the way down to the bottom of the face, so it feels like the face is extra skinny.
Yeah.
That might be it. Of why the face feels so weird. Oh, they do have the what's it called? I think vertical takeoff and landing rotors on the wings still. Yeah, I really don't get why Hasbro apparently can't just go, okay, let's take the Earthrise or Siege mold, slightly modify it, recolor it, there's your Slipstream.
Yeah, like, I don't know why either.
Yeah, because from what I can tell, almost everyone is perfectly fine with that. And then Hasbro's like, no, it must be a different mold.
Like, the fans demanded it. It's like, no, we did not demand this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the other thing that really makes this not look good to me, outside of the head, is that it clearly is not a cockpit that is the torso. It's just like a gem.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like a cockpit, it looks like a gem. Which just ends up making it look like, okay, then where's the nose cone?
Yeah. There's the, like, front of the plane, or the jet.
Yeah, you know, part of the design that Seekers are known for. Especially if this is supposed to be Generation 1 Slipstream. Actually, even if this is animated Slipstream, animated Seekers still have the nose cone down the front of the body. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, hopefully they eventually do just make a modified Siege or Earthrise version of the mold. Well, Siege or Earthrise version of Slipstream, because really just like ever so slightly thin out the waists, change the head. Everyone will agree, okay, that is good enough. That's all you needed to do.
Yeah.
That's what works with animated. You don't need to end up reinventing the wheel just to have one that looks exceptionally like a female character.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially when they were fine with changing Nova Storm for some reason and then leaving Nova Storm in the Siege mold. There's no point for making Slipstream have her own mold. It is very pointless.
Extremely pointless, might I add.
Yeah. Then we have Soundwave, which supposedly is the Netflix mold.
Oh.
But with 3 cassettes, you only got 2 with the Netflix mold.
What do you think the third one's going to be?
So you got Laserbeak and Ravage with the Netflix mold. We've gotten Frenzy and Rumble as core class. Apparently we're getting Ratbat as part of a pack-in with a version of Perceptor. I suspect it is Buzzsaw, the one that we have yet to see yet. And I am very annoyed about that. Because I've been waiting and waiting for them to do Buzzsaw, and basically they are going, hey, you already got that Soundwave. How about you buy it again just to get one stinking cassette?
Exactly.
That is... Oh, and last time I think it was like a $10... I think it was like... I think the Netflix version of Soundwave I saw was like maybe $40. This is full leader class pricing apparently now.
Oh boy.
Just because one more cassette.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Clearly. Especially when I'm pretty sure the cassettes that had come with Netflix Soundwave originally cost about the same as one of the Battle Masters, and those are like $7, $5 at the time. So yeah.
Yeah. Where's the logic in that?
Yeah, maybe they ended up adding extra retooling or like some extra paint or something to make up for it. But I would have to assume that for that to make any sense. Because otherwise it doesn't. And
Nope.
It does just kind of feel like, great guys, you're gonna make me have to likely track down Buzzsaw like you're already gonna make me do with other characters from what I see of what's upcoming. Just because apparently we can't do core class anymore, and apparently it might have something to do with that Walmart overstocked some of the early core class for Legacy and Studio Series and still have them. Therefore, they haven't been buying the newer core class, and therefore the core class isn't selling as well. So they might be cutting it, or at least that's what I've been hearing. So it sounds like, yeah. Maybe they will surprise us, and it will not be Laserbeak, Ravage, and Buzzsaw, but it will be 3 whole brand new cassettes. based
Would
on
be
core
interesting.
class. Or maybe completely new, built from the ground up versions of Laserbeak and Ravage, and using that rebuilt Laserbeak for Buzzsaw. Because I could see that potentially making it still a stretch, but fine, I can see it. Because each core class I think was 10. So 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus like $30 for the Voyager. I could see that. It would still feel like a bit of a stretch because did we really need new core classes of all of these guys?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Then we have 86 Springer. Springer uses the Siege mold as a base.
Okay, I can see that, but since when did he wield the hammer?
I think that's more to do as a nod of that he is often part of the Wreckers in comics and such.
Wait, is he really?
Yeah, I think he's been the leader of the Wreckers a couple of times in the comics.
What?
So I think that's part of why they have ended up giving him the hammer, even though I agree, I don't think he ever uses it in the film.
It also kind of looks like Thor's hammer. What's the name
You'll
of it?
never come to me!
There, yes.
Yeah. I do feel like, from what I recall, his vehicle modes look a little more complete. Because I think last time around, they were completely missing these light green and yellow intakes. And they were missing, like, full, properly planned out helicopter blades that ended up not just looking like clearly a sword. Because I think this time around they made an intentional decision to make that look better. Because they're still doing the thing of we're gonna make the blades out of a sword. I think they might have redone those swords. Hold on. Let's see if I can find a thing to help with this. Okay, so they completely overhauled how the rotor attaches. Hold on, let's see if I can insert this in, and if it will actually show up when I pass by the last picture that I have for him. Okay, let's see. Springer, we have that one, and then we have here. He has his sword, he has some guns, he has the rotor blade sword. He seems to have a bigger blaster, he seems to have a hammer, and he seems to have a shell for the artillery that he was firing at Autobot City.
Oh yeah.
So it seems like he comes with a decent number of things. And if I click this, yeah, there we go, we can see the original version as well. He definitely seems like they changed a decent number of things with him. I don't have side by side. But I think he has a different head. He clearly has a different torso. I think the shoulders are a bit different as well. Maybe the arms a little. I think the legs are mostly the same though. I think maybe his back might be a bit different, but this is what I was talking about with this looks not as good as this version of Helicopter Blades. Now does it?
No.
Yeah, this looks like someone was just like, we need to find a way to make a sword a helicopter blade. Let's just do something.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no. I see what it was. It wasn't just a sword. They had two swords that I think might have made... that look like they may have connected together. They may not have to maybe be one big sword. And they just stuck the hilts into a rotary element. Whereas this one seems to all be combined in and of itself to end up looking like it's actually a rotor. And then be able to form back into a sword.
It now. Yep.
Yeah. And like I said, the Siege version just did not have these things that feel like they're completing this so much more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like this, even though it's going from like 30 to 60, I might be willing to give this... I might be willing to let this slide, but also partly just based on most of the triple changers are leaders anyway. So a mixture of just how much they seem to have changed for him, plus all the stuff he comes with, and that triple changers tend to already be leader class figures anyway.
Yeah.
That are around the Voyager size. I might give it a pass, but due to preference, just due to admittedly slightly biased pass. I'm not gonna say that it's necessarily for everyone what's going to be worth it.
Definitely not.
Yeah, so I'm gonna say it's a slightly biased pass and not necessarily worth it for everyone. I guess kind of how some people view the Ultra Magnus Commander that they had done. Where it really felt like a side grade or slight upgrade to Kingdom. In terms of looking like the character. The biggest thing that ended up being fixed was that you couldn't see the hands in the back of the truck cab anymore, and that the trailer actually could hold the Autobot cars and didn't look like the Siege trailer. Wow. Because I think those were people's two biggest gripes about the Kingdom figure. But honestly, I don't see that being the worst thing. Yeah, I'm gonna say definitely if you this is definitely a case of I'm willing to give this a pass, but I can definitely see other people maybe not.
Yeah, definitely.
We have Steeljaw.
Mm.
He comes with a speaker accessory for Blaster.
Oh, neat.
Yeah. Yeah, probably the last of the cassettes that will actually be released individually.
Oh.
At least until they end up wanting to attempt core class again. Or, better idea, hey Hasbro, maybe, just maybe, you should make an Autobot and a Decepticon cassette minion pack. You do a pack of just Soundwave's cassette minions, and you do a pack of just blasters, and maybe have them be like generation selects or so. Maybe add in like the shattered glass versions and such as well, and do that to end up getting everyone the cassettes, so you can get them all in one nice batch, and you don't have to potentially pick up duplicates of guys you already have just to end up having all the cassettes. Don't know how much they would like that idea though.
Neither do I.
Then we have Straxus. They took the Galvatron mold and changed it up for Straxus.
You didn't scare me.
The unfortunate thing for me is he is part of the comic book subline. So, as much as I kind of would like to grab him, there's certain things like these shadow elements from the comic paint scheme that if I tried to use him in like a stop motion and had like the light shining on him from say over here, well, the area in shadow is now the area in the light. That doesn't quite work.
I don't understand. What?
So it has on it painted on shadow details like you would see in comics. Painted on shading.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. Like here, on the back.
That's so though.
I think part of it is they're trying to go in for the comic aesthetic, and probably more so for like collectors that had ended up reading the Marvel comics. And I think that's what they're kind of going for there. But it is one of those things that really does not work if you want to do anything more than kind of collect it and be like, look at this, they made a thing from my childhood.
Yeah, but why would they add like the extra shadows? Like, it's really unnecessary.
I think mainly because I think each of the these comic book figures, they're basing directly off of one like panel or cover art piece, and they're following that to the letter. Is from my understanding with what's going on with that, so that includes the shading. But yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things of, I like the idea, it just does not work for me.
It doesn't work for me either.
Because I like the idea, I think it's a neat idea. I just have a preference of, with what I would like to be able to do with it, it doesn't really work.
Definitely not.
Then we have an unnamed rock transformer. A recolor of the tricycle one.
How can you tell it's a rock?
Mainly because of this texturing.
Yeah, but it still looks more metallic than anything.
That might be due to the shading they used here. It could also be that it's based on like it could be based on like a metal, and they're saying that it's still technically part of the rock-like thing because they've been using crystals.
I mean, yeah.
So
Like at
that's
this point, it wouldn't be called rock. They would be called minerals.
yeah. Yeah, so that's probably what's going on there. I think this is literally going to be a recolor of the tricycle one that ended up looking kind of like a chariot with a motorcycle strapped onto it. Then we have Vector Prime. Now this guy is technically from, I think, the Cybertron show. But he's also one of the 13 primes. And the more I end up looking at this figure, the more I end up feeling like it's slowly growing on me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that apparently a lot of people do not like that it still has G-Axis's wires just in his shins. And a lot of people were apparently upset that he didn't get his own unique mold, which is funny to me. Not because I want to end up not getting what they ended up wanting. But give me a moment to pull up the original toy so I can show you what is, so I can show you, at least from my perspective, what I'm looking at in terms of this is what they are, this is what we need to compare, this is what is to be compared to. So let's see, say... Vector Prime. So let's see. Let's update for I get. Oh, there we go. So this is the original version toy, both Hasbro and Takara versions. I think the only thing I'm really seeing missing is like a little bit of of hip armor and a little bit of forearm armor. And that he doesn't have those exposed wirings. But this doesn't look like it's a bad retool to make it look like the guy. And this doesn't look like a bad interpretation of this.
No.
Because I've seen people saying this looks nothing like this. No, it looks decently... It doesn't look that much unlike it. This looks like it might be a little squished. That clearly has the exposed wires instead of the kind of thing at the back, but this does not look so terribly unlike this that it is an issue. At least from what I can tell.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just that maybe it's just from that I do not know the Unicron trilogy very well. But none of that ends up... This does not seem like a bad figure at all. The only weird thing is this, that they still have like the hinge for G-Axis's small wings at the back of his ship form. But it looks like maybe the cape parts might plug into that. So maybe that's why they didn't remove those from the sculpt. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why some people apparently are despising that they didn't get a new mold for this figure.
I mean, it's decent,
Yeah.
I will say. Also, how many more are left? It's like 10,
That's the last
40.
one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so now I guess we go to the favorites and least favorites of the thing. So I'm gonna cut myself off from I'm not going to use Skywarp because that would be the obvious answer. I like Seekers.
Yeah.
I'm going to say... I'm going to actually say probably either Vector Prime or the Springer.
Yeah, I like the Springer too.
Yeah. I think least favorite... I mean, I'm slightly disappointed by this, but I did kind of expect this because that's how the comic Grimlock and comic Shockwave are. So that's fine. I shouldn't get hopes up too much about that and shouldn't complain too much about that. That's not that much of an issue. But I do feel like the people who actually cared for this character, Sideburn, really got screwed. So I think I might give it to him.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with you. Like,
yeah, because they really got screwed with Sideburn, especially considering apparently how the figure ends up, how the Shadow Striker figure ends up being, it's not an enjoyable figure apparently in the first place. So not only did they end up deciding they needed to apparently do that version first and merge it with the Cyberverse one for no good reason, but then you are stuck with that engineering for the actual character people want of the mold like that, and you don't get the car mode that everyone wanted.
nope.
Yeah, that's, even though I do not know anything about this character, that is just unfortunate for those that do. And I do feel bad for them.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. Maybe they'll get a studio series.
I hope so.
Subline for that. Hopefully eventually each show will get a subline and studio series. But not at the expense of not completing the ones they started. I'm looking for that Mudflap and Skids Hasbro. You specifically said about gathering all of the main characters, and you leave out two of the important ones, even if people hate them.
Yeah.
They're still the main characters. You can't complete the main characters in scale if they're not there. It's just not possible. But yeah. So I think that's about all. Anything else you have to say?
Yay!
Alright. I'll see everyone next time.
Yay!